Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia Division Previews 8 of 8. We have made it to the end and it's this is the hottest by far. Danny Boy at Danny Webb, AGS AU. You said that the further we go, the hotter it gets, and it's hot.
Oh, mate, we saved the best to last. Doesn't get any hotter than this, does it?
That's purely because you're the Super Bowl champ, so that is fair.
You got to do it. You got to save the Super Bowl champs to last, always.
Yeah, and at Charlie Pig, I'd say that he's right. It is still pretty hot, even though it is his team.
Absolutely. It's not just a Super Bowl champ. It's a division of contenders and also one rolling cluster fudge that is just a joy to watch.
Cluster fudge.
I'm just trying to make sure that we don't lose a sponsor. I'd like to get a sponsor and make sure we don't lose them.
It's become increasingly hot with some breaking news that we will touch on a lot more, but obviously it's great for my Packers. The fact that Micah Parsons has actually been traded to us a week before the first game, it's enormous.
Yeah, well, we knew he was going to be out when he was falling asleep on the sideline and eating chicken nuggets or whatever he was doing, just not paying attention to the game whatsoever. You knew he was gone. Just did not see him going on the Packers. Like, you were obviously a hopeful and a homer, which was great, but like I never saw him go on the Packers. That really took me by surprise.
I did say to you, Charles, that before it was official news, I had in our little doc that the Packers have a trade on the table. Didn't think it was actually going to come true though.
That's right. The idea that you know that much about football, that you knew this was going to happen, is an outrageous concept. But it was absolutely true. You picked it. But we'll get stuck into that as we go through the additions and subtractions of each team. We've got to stick with our format,
yes,
as we've done through all of these divisional previews.
And it is Danny Boy's episode. We know that. Before we get to your birds, there is something that we have to touch on. It's remiss of me. It comes from not only me, but our little friendship group that I've just found out that it was your birthday last week.
Yes, I kept that very
Now
quiet.
I feel like a bit of an asshole because it's your birthday next week and the boys have finally come through with your 30th gift from last year.
Oh, wow.
It's actually the perfect time to
We're doing this live on the episode.
Live on the episode.
Oh, amazing.
We got you the Kelly Green. And it took me, you don't understand how hard this was to get.
Oh, that's insane. I'm just gonna hold that up for everyone to see.
That is very special.
And I'll be wearing that for our week one preview.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was extremely hard to get.
I had to come away from the States, I'm tipping. That is unreal.
Yeah. So happy birthday for last year, next year, mate.
Thank you, mate.
All right.
Incredible.
Let's get into your Kelly Green birds, mate. We're going to start with the Super Bowl champs, the additions. Oh, there was some subtractions that we probably need to speak about.
Yeah, but let's just focus on the additions. My favorite one that I want to bring up is the fact that AJ Dillon has come from your Packers to the Eagles, because him and our boy Barkley has just been doing squat for squat, rep for rep, just trying to get the biggest quads in the game. They are a couple of running machines, and like to give someone like Barkley a backup that he can rely on and like it doesn't have to go through every single snap. I know I said he's going to go for another 2,000-yard season, but if he can have a little bit of a break and any form of reprieve, he's only going to be better when he's actually out there.
It just also means that there's the tush push has got 6 of the biggest quads you've ever seen.
That's exactly right. It's big quads, big tush. You got some big tushes pushing the tush push as well. Like they carrying, they look like zebras. Like they're just, yeah.
What's your game plan going to be? Just tush push 100 yards?
Yeah, well, if you can tush push and you get 3 to 5 yards every single time, just do it every play. Just run it every single play. But
and become the most hated team in football, more than you already are.
But, you can't be more than the Chiefs.
No, it's all the Cowboys. But yeah, the other thing though about AJ Dillon is like as a 1-2 punch, that's amazing, but that also makes Hurts more dangerous. You've got those two and his legs. That is on the ground. This is a tough team to stop.
Yeah, and then he can still use his arm. Like, don't forget, like you got AJ Brown and Smith running long routes and stuff, and Hurts is not afraid to throw a big bomb. But then you also don't know when he's going to throw a big bomb or he's going to try and run through you with those quads.
Now we've got AJ Brown, AJ Dillon.
I know, yeah.
So confused.
Bit of a mouthful. It's too many AJs. I'm just going to go surname only from here on out. But another thing that they've done is how he's done what he always has done, and that is improve the defense through the draft. So picked up a linebacker at pick 31, a safety at pick 64. But everyone's like, oh, you're going to have too many rookies. We lost a couple of vets in the defense. but we saw it work with Cooper DeJean and Quinton Mitchell last year, that, you know, these rookies that fully buy into this defense and into this scheme can end up in the top 100 player list for the year. It's an incredible thing to do as a rookie, and then, you know, go on to win a Super Bowl. Obviously, it obviously helps with those sort of stats.
Pick 6 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That
pick
helps
6. Cooper DeJean pick 6 in the Super Bowl. It's like, it's an incredible thing. I often find myself watching that on YouTube just to make myself feel a little bit good. But like, it's just Howie doing Howie's things, and it's the best thing for the Eagles, if, in my opinion, if they keep on improving their defense through the draft.
So there's some big pieces that you lost at the end of last season that cause you concern. You've drafted well for the defense. What did you lose on your line?
Well, GJ's gone.
Yeah.
It's more probably your corners.
Yeah, the corners left.
smashed
Big
it.
play Slay, he left as well. So it was, more the vets rather than the actual line itself.
And how is that secondary looking now?
I think you just got to be hopeful. You just got to be hopeful that they're all going to buy in and just follow the scheme that's set out for them. It's worked in the past. You got Vic Fangio still there running that defense, and the way he manages to do that and gets everyone to buy in, I'm for it.
Sounds like they're all
It
right.
just occurred to me how poorly matched the names Vic and Fangio are.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like Fangio, it should be like Leonardo Fangio or something like that. But it just struck me that Vic is not a Fangio name. I don't
Is he a
know.
Victor? or-
Yeah, it's probably Victor.
Yeah.
Like, no one's just getting
Sounds
Vic.
Russian.
It's still not working for me.
Victor Fangio.
All right, you've had your little spiel. You're pretty happy with how they're sitting. The Super Bowl champions are not any worse off, which is huge. And you're up 40-6, so you were
Before they took the pedal off the
yeah. They
gas.
took them pedal off. Charles, the Commanders, they've picked up, especially on wide receiver. They've gone Deebo Samuel, but signed Terry. He's happy now as well.
That's right. And that was like one of the off-season narratives of Scary Terry holding out for a contract, you know, or holding in for a new contract. It was one of the more tedious ones. It's one of the ones you knew he was going to get paid eventually. Like, it wasn't like the Commanders were ever seriously thinking of trading him to anyone. It was just kind of one of those exhausting off-season narratives that you have to stay across. But it was a nice big deal, like 90 plus million over 3 years. He's done really well for himself, and he's a great match for Jaden Daniels. They really had some good production. It's good for them to build on that. What I'm hearing out of Commanders preseason though is that Debo is looking great. So as an addition, he's experienced, but also there was some talk of Debo he's a bit late career. He's been banged up the last few years. He actually had issues, if you remember, at San Francisco. When he re-signed at San Francisco the last time, he didn't want them running the ball with him so much because he didn't want to get injured, and it felt like they forced him to, particularly with McCaffrey out.
Or he lost a lot of production because he wasn't getting the ball.
That's exactly right. And so he wasn't happy with that, but his body took a toll. It's good to hear that he is fast. He's been outside, inside, doing everything. And a lot of people have been surprised at just how fast he looks out there. How that holds up over the length of the season remains to be seen. But that is it's a very good, it's a good sign for the Commanders that offense, which was pretty exciting last year, and well ahead of schedule, that it's definitely got room to grow.
They did lose Robinson Jr., the running back. He's gone to San Fran, so it'll be interesting to see how long it's before. Hey, Debo, just go on the backfield for us for one or two plays and see if he's all for it then.
I'm sure as a garnish to his game, like a little, just spice it up with the occasional treat, he'll be fine with that.
Around that, yeah.
If he ends up
Around
pounding
that,
the rock, he's not going to be happy.
yeah, he won't be happy. They did bring in big Laramie Tunzel out of the Texans. I don't know if he's been a little bit injured, but he was one of the best linebackers when he first got in the game. So one of the better. I want to say the best. He's going to cop a lot of heat for that. But he's a good linebacker, so I don't hate that coming in just to protect Jaden a little bit more.
Left tackle, is he? Yeah. And so, and once again, raises questions about Texas O-line as well as soon as you say that, because he was one of the good news stories of the Texas O-line last year. So that helps Jaden Daniels. There were a few too many times that he took hits or he really had to do it with his legs when you would rather he didn't.
Yeah.
And he's not a big boy.
No,
You worry
Jaden's not.
he's going to
He
snap
was-
like a twig at some point.
He went out during a game and it was his mum that was tweeting. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Or any copped the head knocking.
Yeah.
His mum was in the stands saying, "I hope he's all right. I've heard he's okay," and she was the one providing the
breaking the news. How good.
But-
Mama Daniels.
Yeah,
Mama Daniels
Mama
stepping
Daniels.
in there.
She's just done a deal with Disney ESPN. She'll be on the boundary for.
She thought Red Sox Scott Hansen at 3 in the morning.
that's right.
We'll get to the Cowboys last, obviously. The Giants. I like, Danny Boy, what the Giants have done this offseason.
Is that go out and get Abdul Carter? Is that what you're saying?
And
Russell Wilson,
No.
James Win.
Jackson Dart. I'm a big Jackson Dart fan from what I've seen. so
Yeah,
far.
I've got a juicy hot take on Jackson Dart. We'll save that for a little hot take section.
Ooh.
But bringing in Abdul Carter, I think, is an absolutely
Yeah.
huge thing that they needed to do. The Giants needed to do something on that defense, and like bringing in someone like that who will instantly change the whole Giants defense and completely change the way that they've been playing. But yeah, Jackson Dart as also picking up a QB in that first round. It is good for the Giants' future, finally, to hopefully have a QB that they can believe in.
So on that topic, it is a good situation for Brian Daboll, head coach, who had great success with a raw quarterback in Josh Allen. He has experience. He knows how to coach a young
Allen?
quarterback. Sorry,
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's. I think he's got some potential.
I've heard of it.
But what I would say is, how patient can they be with Jackson Dart, given you would have to say Daboll's on the hot seat and Joe Shane, the GM, as well. This season could be last roll of the dice for the organization there. They need Jackson Dart to be good, and they want to get him on the field. And on that topic, you've got Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback, and you've also got Jameis Winston in the quarterback room. They cut Tommy DeVito a few days ago. Big mistake. but I will say this, like, free Jameis. Why are you keeping Jameis Winston in that quarterback room? He could, like,
Because he throws as many interceptions as he does touchdowns.
no, but that's right. Like, if
He's
you've
a
got
locker
Russell
room.
Wilson,
Yeah.
but you've got Russell Wilson and you've got Jackson Dart. You got Jackson Dart. Why do you need to keep Jameis there? Why can't he be off saving another franchise somewhere for 3 games like he always does? But like, it feels to me like a waste of a Jameis Winston. You know, don't get me wrong. The clips are going to be good.
Mm.
You
He's
know.
already got Jackson eating W's, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So good. So- I did see a thing the other day. It was a bit of a piss take, but they said that Jameis shouldn't be at any team, but as soon as there's an injury, it's just Jameis goes to that team. Like he's
That's right.
He's not a backer, he's the backup.
Yeah.
Like, so as soon as someone's out of the game, Jameis just shows up and he's on that team.
But he might still do that. Like, there still might be a little late trade in there if someone desperately needs him. Like, they'll just pick up the phone and
A
call.
little bit of photo, especially, well, they've named Russell as the starter, but I reckon Jackson would have to be. You say Daboll's hot, but I reckon they could have a bad season. But if he makes some of the calls, you know, obviously, however long Russell starts, Jackson comes in, like they can still have a bad season, but fans be happy if he shows some signs. And Carter's obviously a beast.
It's like they could lose 10 straight with Russell Wilson and they bring Jackson Dart in.
Well,
And if he wins 3 or 4 of the remaining 7, you know, like, then everyone could keep their job because you got a future
they
there.
could go. If they're going 0-10, he could lose 7, but you know, show some signs.
That's right.
They could be 0-17 and still be happy.
Yeah.
Somehow.
That's right. And I think as far as like the New York media and it's a pressure cooker.
red hot.
The fact is they're not going to go 0-10 and Russell still be there.
Nah, not
It'll be
getting that team,
if they lose 3 or 4 out of the gate, Russell's gone and Jackson's in. But that is also liberating as well, because they go like, yeah, we're putting in the kid, and it, you know, a bit like Trevor Lawrence at Jacksonville. It's like, throw it around, man. You're going to make some mistakes, but hell,
Yeah,
you knew
You won't.
we're not in contention this year. Go learn as much as you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Daboll
him
can
and
scheme
Malik
up.
Neighbours can start to.
That's right. Malik Neighbours he's a serious receiver, and so there is some potential for magic there.
Yeah, but from what I've seen from Jackson, still a rookie making rookie mistakes in there, but shows some potential. And it's got a little bit of a swag about him. And yeah, I don't know. I reckon that could be the start of a little bit of a New York turnaround.
Quite possible.
I like him. All right, the Cowboys, the biggest news we'll talk about at the end. They have brought in still, Danny Boy, some weapons which Now their defense sucks. It doesn't really matter. But
Yeah, but bringing in George Pickens was huge as a wide receiver. You know, now CD Lamb doesn't have to be the wide receiver one and only one. There, have George Pickens like lining up on the other side just to give him a little bit of reprieve. Brought in Miles Sanders, the running back, as well. So just really just trying to improve on their offense. Like you said, their defense might be struggling a little bit here. They've promoted their head coach promoted their OC to head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, which was always going to happen. We knew that.
You didn't even try. You didn't even try on that pronunciation.
We always knew that was going to happen. When towards the end of like Dallas' season, that was definitely on the cards.
They also signed to an extension Deron Bland. So good cornerback. I think he had 12 or 13 picks a couple of years ago. So
he's a very solid cornerback. Also a cornerback starting on the other side, which is just worthy of mention, is Kyrie Elam. I think Diggs is still
no good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't heard any news of Diggs being great, but potential starter Kyrie Elam, who was a number one. He was like a first-round draft pick at the Bills and never found a spot because he came very much from a man scheme, didn't fit into zone. But I think word out of the Cowboys is he's found a place. He's got great traits. He's really fast. He was a bit handsy and he was out of position in zone. But if he can play man, he could actually be quite a good difference maker at corner. He's intercepted Pat Mahomes 3 times. And he's loathed at the Bills for the way that he's played at various times. But he's got, once again, he's a ball hawk. He's got good skills. On the topic of the defense at the Cowboys, I think there is a big question before we get to that, right? Because we're about to talk about the meaning of the trade of Micah Parsons. Before we get to the trade and what that means, I want to talk about Matt Eberflus, who's the DC at the Cowboys now. Given what Micah Parsons was for the Cowboys defense, right? I'm just talking about purely preparation and how you prepare in the offseason. He could go anywhere. He basically decided where he would go. Everything was built around what he was going to do at any given time. How did they practice their defense for the entirety of camp without the single best piece there on the defense? They can't scheme up shit. Because, whether they knew that he was gone or not, just as a team preparing, we've got like these corners and, we've got new players in there. How do you even practice when you don't have the one piece you need there practicing? So
probably lucky now that he's gone. That they've actually had a bit of practice without him.
They're just practicing with 10 people on the field.
But I think that, we can say that their defense is going to struggle because he's not there. I think there's going to be a struggle because I don't think they're going to be as prepared as they should be. Separate to that.
So now they're going to, like you said, it sounds like their cornerback stocks are pretty healthy and they're going to be not bad, but Saquon's going to 300 yards on them.
That's right.
Because I don't know if they can stop. They did bring in, so part of the trade, 2 firsts and Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's a good tackle. He's not Micah Parsons, but he's, 30, nearly 31. Will help with the run game, but I think their run game is going to struggle.
It's a huge hole, and like you're saying, if they've tried to plan the whole scheme for every single year that Micah's been there around Micah, and now he's gone, it's like not only hitting the refresh button, it's starting all over.
And that it wasn't just Saquon Barkley that could run for 200 on them. Everyone could run on them. Like that was like we've all enjoyed our teams have a nice, comfortable afternoon or evening against the Cowboys, just running it on them, and they can't stop it, and you don't have to take any risks.
Yeah.
Like 5 yards of play every single time. And to not fix that, they're not. I struggle to take their defense seriously.
He's obviously being an edge. He's not going to be the run stopper, but he's also the second player of all time, 12 sacks in his first 4 seasons. So he's at least putting pressure on the quarterback so they can work on the run game. Now, I don't know where that pressure is going to come from.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark, and good player, but not relying on him to get to the quarterback every week.
No, it's almost like Jerry Jones didn't think this one through. But we're about to talk about exactly that.
So, that's I listened to Adam Schefter as soon as it happened. I was driving, to see you actually at 6:30 in the morning, and I got a message, and I was fist pumping all the way to your place. It sounds like it was more personal than anything. He had a handshake deal that he believed, he bought the Cowboys on a handshake deal. That handshake deals matter, where Micah disagreed that they didn't have this handshake deal, and that's where it all fell apart. He's like, well, I'm a man of, you go through with your word, and that's, sounded like after that, it was the end. That was the end. It was just whether Micah bent the knee or not.
And that's right. And I think that is an interesting inflection point in football and for the Cowboys and where we're at. And I said rather contentiously when T-Mac and I were chatting about it, Jerry Jones, for better or worse, is what he is. He's a product of a certain time, a product of a certain place, but he has had the air of a plantation owner about the way he runs that football team.
An old watch.
And it is absolutely reasonable that a player of Micah Parsons' stature, who is a professional, who spends millions of dollars a year just to be in condition to play at the level that he does, who has a team of agents and managers because he's a damn professional, for him to go, no, this is business in the year 2025. You negotiate a contract with my agent. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, his position is absolutely sound. And it just shows that this idea of, I bought the Cowboys at a poker game with a pirate and we shook hands and everything's been fine.
That's leg. He had a
That's great. It's the NFL. It's not a Jimmy Buffett song. It's got to be, if we're going to be playing for billions of dollars worth of media all around the world, you have to act like grown-ups and do it. And that is essentially what has happened here.
Yeah, well, a handshake's not going to pay you, is it? Like, you're not getting any money from that handshake.
It's got to be a bloody good handshake.
I reckon he's got pretty little hands. There. He's not putting many cash rolls in that little handshake. But I'm still kind of, until I see him, in the number 1 jersey on the field, I'm not sold that he's actually there. But yeah, Jerry, what are you doing? Like, there's so many, and then to turn around and yes, Deron Bland, good cornerback, paid him straight away. Like, yeah, and he was, the fact that he in the press conference got his name wrong 4 times. Says a lot about Jerry.
Yeah.
And let's look at what the Cowboys got. Right, they got 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's a good player. That's great. 2 first-round picks from a team who are contenders. Like, they're proper contenders without Micah Parsons. Now they're red hot. You can tell how nervous Danny is about the NFC now. It's he justifiably nervous now about the Packers. And I'm enjoying it from over here, I'll say that. But those 2 first-round picks are going to be between 28 and 32. Like, realistically, that's what those picks are. It's not like they're getting the guaranteed quarterback of the future or the next Micah Parsons in the draft. Then those aren't those draft picks that are going to get it. And a lot of people beforehand were saying it was going to be at least 3 first-round picks to get Micah Parsons.
Trey Lance was 3 first-round.
Mind-blowing.
Time will tell, guys. Time will tell on the Trey Lance trade at San Francisco. But the point there is, and this is why Gerra isn't the deal maker he loves to believe that he is. He has overpaid players that are not top-level elite, and he has not got a deal with someone who is first ballot Hall of Famer, just racking up sacks. Like, he's the best player on that team by a mile, and doesn't get enough in the deal. It's a handful of magic beans.
Yeah, and it really is, like I said, the stat to you, it is quarterback stat. So, but since 2000, there's been 60 quarterbacks taken in the first round. 30 of them, so literally 50-50, have signed a second deal with that same team. So that's just quarterbacks.
That's over a long period of time for that to happen.
They're the people that, they put a lot more time in than, a big tackle or, an edge rusher. They kind of stand out. Everyone knows about them. But they're the quarterbacks are one where you're doing a bit of a deep dive into and seeing people going to their birthdays and stuff like that. So, and to be 50-50 on that one, I reckon that's where I'm happy with the Packers, giving up that 2 first rounds is a bargain, because we've got someone we know who's going to be around. He's only 26. Like he's going to be around.
And he wants to play for the Packers.
Yeah, that's
too.
it.
Like he's all in. You can tell in his press conference and stuff. He's excited to be at the Packers, and like that was part of his way of pouting out of the Cowboys. He didn't want to be there anymore, and that probably says more to the Cowboys franchise than it does to the Packers. Like it's exactly what you're saying. Jerry Jones probably isn't the person you necessarily want to be playing for.
Mm.
So let's talk the Packers side of it. How extraordinarily good is this deal for the Packers? You just said there, like what they've given up are 2 moonshots. Like you might land an amazing player, but around 30, 32, that can be a player that takes 2 or 3 years to actually be of value, even if you get it right.
Mm.
But I love what the Packers are saying. The Packers are saying, we are good to go. Like we are loading up and we're going for it. And that is a beautiful mindset. And I heard this news and I thought of you and I was just like, how good to be a Packers fan, not just because you get Micah Parsons. It says what the Packers think about where they're at. And they're not a team that splash around with big deals. Like they're pretty low key most of the time.
It's like once every 10 years, you
Yeah.
do a big deal like this.
And I love that they weren't going to play Rodgers' bullshit game and they were going to go to Love, who they rated as a talent and, had a succession plan in mind that a lot of people are starting to think we'll never see Jordan Love play a game of, start a game of football. He sat there for that long. But they were zero bullshit, got Rodgers out of the building despite everything he'd done for them. And they do a deal like this. And that's them saying, we believe in our offense. And we believe, it also says we believe in the young players on our defense. And there are good young players that they obviously think will develop well. All the signs must have been there through training camp, through everything there, that they've got the right players that are going to be good in 2-3 years' time, be great players. And adding Micah Parsons for the leadership, for developing those players. And he's so good that those players can get time on field and really get experience. It's an exciting time for the Packers. And it doesn't make me quite as physically ill to say that as it does Danny.
I'm getting real close to bringing the Packers ballot.
Where's my shot collar?
We are doing the NFC East here.
Yeah.
Let's wind it all back.
It is huge for us.
Major news.
That went back to, like I said, started when we drafted a wide receiver for the first time in 145 years. So huge for us, and time will tell how big it is for us. So you're right, though. It is the NFC East. So let's. I appreciate the Packers talk. I'm just being all pity, but.
So it's a bit early, but can we do a quick Packers injury report at this stage? We've got a Packers injury report. What's the Packers injury report at the moment?
We're all healthy. We're fine.
All healthy? Oh, okay.
we do have a week 1 chat that I'm sure we can bring up all that one. Players to watch, Danny Boy. You've kind of gone through a lot of the Eagles boys that you think. Is there anyone that you think that's not getting enough talking about?
No, I reckon I've kind of touched on it all. Like the major departures in the defense that we spoke about before, it's really just a matter of time of how long this new defense will gel. Like at the start of last season, a lot of them were rookies, and they did have the vets that were still there. Now those vets are gone, and like you're relying on a second-year player to then almost, I think Cooper DeJean's been named like the captain of the defense, and he's in second-year player. Like you're relying a lot on some pretty junior guys then to help, create the identity of the defense. So that's going to be a big major thing to watch. And then are we going to have the Saquon Barkley sequel? Because we all know, and it's been very clear that he played more incredibly than anyone was going to think when he came to the Eagles. Like even when we first got him, I was like, awesome, this is going to be great. But I didn't expect him to have the gear that he was going to have. So will he have the same effect? Will he hit another 2,000-yard season? Will he just be the guy that can reverse hurdle over players in the snow of all things? But one real big thing that we need to watch is the fact that Eagles are now on their 4th OC in 4 years. Like winning Super Bowls or getting to the Super Bowl, you often lose your OC and they go become a head coach somewhere else. But it's really, I think, hard for an offense. And I know Hurts has been there now for a few years and he's getting more and more comfortable. But it is a hard thing, I think, for any QB to change your OC every single year.
I think that puts even more pressure on Barkley. You can be figuring out your offense a bit more if you've got Barkley producing the way that he did last year. But if your offense is actually finding itself under a new OC and Barkley's not quite at that level, that does make you a little vulnerable.
They should be stable enough, though, realistically that Hurts has been in long enough that you can almost let him run the offense and go from there. But yeah, having 4 in 4 years also a bit of a kick in the plums.
Yeah, for sure. And he just needs to really step up and be that captain that he wants to be and says that he will be. Like, even at his ring ceremony, like, he got the ring, he opened up the box, he looked at it, smiled, and then put it down. Like, he only flinched a smile. He's like, we're not done. We're going back. And I think that just kind of shows the determination that he has. And if anyone could do for a season 4 years, well, hopefully it hurts.
The only thing that worries me is, have you ever heard of the Madden curse?
Oh, don't even start. No.
I don't want
Can't do that
injuries.
to my boy.
I don't want injuries, but
No injuries.
everyone who gets on the next year is a down year. So that's my only worry about Barkley there. And
Sorry, hang on. Oh, the next.
Like, if you're the color,
you know what the Madden curse is?
I do, but I believe Josh Allen won the MVP
Not
year
the
after.
year, but no.
The year after.
Yeah, the year down. I reckon he was down. He didn't win it. He wasn't the year before, was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Bullshit, then don't worry about it. All right. Now the next three, I kind of want to clump these together: Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. I think a lot of these that we need to work it's the wide receiving rooms. So Scary Terry and Debo, CD Lamb and George Pickens coming in, and then Malik Neighbors and whoever they have. I think those are the guys that we need to kind of watch out of this division, especially the Cowboys, they need those guys to really kind of stand up.
It's for Pickens, it's interesting because he's got all the talent in the world. Like, he's a freak show. He can catch one-handed in, like, you know, he's got all the highlight reel tape, but obviously some attitude issues at the Steelers. And
now he's under Jerry Jones.
Who's really good at managing egos. But there is that sense that, like, CeeDee Lamb has been pretty incredible the last few years, given that you knew the ball was always going to fucking CeeDee Lamb. The fact that they've got another genuine threat to throw to, Dak Prescott would be very happy about this. Like, he can do two things now.
Yeah.
You know,
and the big tight end too, Jake
Ferguson?
Yes.
Jake Ferguson.
So
Yeah.
if he can have
another big target.
So they do have some weapons on the offense.
That's right. And I think it is like CeeDee Lamb has a better year if Pickens puts it together. And maybe this is the moment. Maybe it was like Pickens started very, very young. He's still an incredibly young man. Maybe he's ready to be, responsible. But if he's not, that is a big, that's a big sunken resource to not work.
Yeah. And then probably not so much Malik Neighbors. We know he's going to be a gun. But the Scary Terry and Debo, we've already kind of touched on it. But if they can work together, that's
a dangerous two-headed beast. And like what we were saying before with Debo, the fact that he can play in the backfield as well and potentially have a trick play as a running back. He might not take a lot of snaps as a running back, but he has the ability, and we've seen that in the past, that he could do that. It just creates freedom for that offense to be able to, have some fun and play. And when they're playing well and having fun, we've seen the Commanders have success.
That what Debo Samuel can do in the screen game, he can be breaking
yards
off,
after catch.
That's right. He can be breaking off 8, 9, 10, 15 yards, and they can really he is tough to scheme against. Particularly in the screen game, but also those two players aren't your prototypical receivers. Like, they're big-bodied guys. They are physical. You have to scheme up specifically for them. Like, whatever you were doing against your lighter-bodied, faster receivers isn't going to work with them. So they are a challenge, definitely.
So we've said this is a pretty hot division, and Danny, you've come in with some pretty spicy takes.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to start with the Birds. I want to start with the Giants because you almost ruined it right from the get-go, from the start of the episode. My hot take is that Jackson Dart will 100% be the starter, and I'm willing to bet it'll be before the halfway mark of the season, or like bang on the halfway mark. I'm talking like max. He's going to do 8. Yeah, week 8. 8. Well, depending on their bye, they've got to play at least 8 games, and then Jackson Dart will be the starter. I love him as a fresh QB, and I think the Giants fans love him too. Like you said, he's got almost like a cool little swagger about him. He's a rookie. We don't know whether he's sitting QB2 or QB3. Probably should be QB2, and I'm saying he will be QB1 by the end. He's a perfect combination of like a Bo Nix mixed with Jalen Hurts. You know how much I love the Bo Nix, and Hurts is my boy. So this is like a perfect combo for me, and I think it's going to be good for the Giants fans to have someone to cheer for.
I love this take. And it just makes me think at the same time, the worst possible thing that can happen to the Giants is that Russell Wilson's a bit good.
Yeah,
You know, like if he actually starts well, play some good games.
if he's
that's
5-3.
that's right. 5-3,
He's not.
and he's doing some of that backyard ball to neighbours that that makes him look like he's better than he is. If when he like gets out of the pocket and he hits some amazing deep throws, neighbours can catch a lot of them, and that could have them in just a position going like we know what we need to do.
But we can't.
Because we're 5-3.
How ironic would it be? How ironic would it be if Russell Wilson gets benched as a winning starting QB? The same way that Justin Fields got benched at the Steelers for Russell Wilson. It'll be the biggest.
It's the perfect next step in the slow motion humbling of Russell Wilson. Like, his time at the Broncos and the Steelers and now the Giants is just a very humbling experience for a very confident man.
Though? I don't know if it has. Somehow Team 3 is still all about Team 3.
Yeah.
I know you got another one, but do you have one? I've got a real juicy one that I'll finish with.
No, you go, and I'll
finish.
You got another one?
Yeah, I got another one. Like, obviously, I'm going to have at least a hot take with the Eagles. And this one isn't that hot, but I'll make it hotter as we go along. So it's that Barkley's going to become the first league's two-time 2,000-yard rusher. So last year he had 2,005 yards, and then they benched him. And then they benched him for the last game. So not only is he going to do that, I reckon he's going to break the all-time rushing record, which is 2,105 yards. So he's only got to get an extra 100 yards from last year, and he got benched. I know it was in one less game, but that was by Eric Dickinson in 1984.
It's primed.
It's primed. It's ready to be broken. And I reckon, he's not only going to break that, he's going to break the Madden curse the same way Josh Allen did it by winning MVP after he was on the cover.
Yes. So my super juicy is just to give the Giants a little bit of something to go forward with. I think that Abdul Carter is going to spend a lot of time on the ground, so he's going to be up there not only in offense, rookie defensive player of the year, but defensive player of the year.
Oh wow! You reckon he's going to double dip in the awards?
Yeah.
Surely
if you win defensive player, you've got
rookie
rookie
defense.
Off the top of my head, do you know the last rookie who won Defensive Rookie of the Year and placed second for Defensive Player of the Year?
I want to say JJ Watt.
Guy called Micah Parsons.
Oh. No.
So that to me is but he could definitely have a Micah Parsons season.
I just feel like he's going to be on the field.
Just on the whole Micah Parsons thing one more time, because I feel like we haven't done enough to Jerry Jones. So the Cowboys are actually going to be the first team since the Packers in 2011 to have the kickoff game, Thanksgiving game, and Christmas Day game, which is like huge primetime games, and they've traded away their best player. When the Packers did it, though, you'll love this because we haven't spoken enough about the Packers. They actually went 3-0 in all those games and finished the season 15-1.
So
We won't talk about what happens at the end of that.
I just want to say, this is not so much a hot take, but those big landmark games, and in particular, like the Thanksgiving Day game, having lived over there and enjoyed Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Day football for years, Thanksgiving was the day that we watched the Lions suffer again. The Cowboys would always play, but the Detroit Lions would always play as well.
Yep.
I remember, I think The Onion, the satirical newspaper, The Onion, once said that activists were calling for the acknowledgement of historical cruelty to the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. I will say this. We're about to enter an era where the Cowboys are playing those marquee games, but we start to talk about how unfair it is on the Cowboys that they have those marquee games and we watch them lose repeatedly. Thanksgiving is going to become a horror day for the Cowboys.
There's every chance they're going 0-3.
I was going to say,
those
hot
games.
take, 0-3.
Yeah, they go 0-3 and 1-16. Like just completely flip of what the Packers done. Yeah, it's a dangerous spot to be, I think, as a Cowboys fan with.
Yeah, it also sucks a little bit for us. They could be shit games.
Yeah, well, like we spoke about their offense improving, so it just really depends if they can. It might end up being giant score fest, which we also love.
Fingers crossed. All right, let's get into whatever you're about to say.
Tiny little thought. Sorry,
no.
It occurred to me just one other thing to say, and it's relevant to this division, not just because Micah Parsons has left it, but because he's gone to the Packers. There is something in that decision by the Packers, and I believe it's Philly related. I believe they know for them to get to the promised land, they have to beat Philly. And he is a guy with playing experience. He's played Philly a lot.
Yeah.
He knows them well. He's had a good sack record, twice a year, good sack record against Philly. And I think there's an element there that the Packers are like, we're getting Micah Parsons as a Philly beater. I think they're expecting and needing big games from him against Philly. That's what I reckon. So yeah, that's just another detail to the decision.
Nice little detail.
I'm just trying to make you uncomfortable. It's good news for the Eagles, but I think you need to be more uncomfortable about Philly this year.
Well, yeah, my original hot take was that Philly were going back to back, and I didn't say that. So I backed off a bit, so you've made me nervous enough.
Yeah. All right, where our unders overs brought to us by our good friends at Unibet, Danny Boy.
Yeah, we'll start at the bottom as we always do. We got the Giants. Their over under is sitting at 5.5. To go over, they're paying $2.15. So really, for me, this is how early Russell Wilson gets benched and that we start believing in Jackson Dart. I could see Jackson Dart potentially winning 6 games, but he's going to have to play 12 to win 6, which potentially won't
even
be happening.
that's an optimistic number as well.
Yeah, that is. Over 6. No, yeah. I'm under. Sorry, I've just talked myself straight out of it. I'm going under the 6 wins. They won 4 games last year.
They did.
And Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart probably isn't enough to get another 2 wins in there.
It's a good number.
Yeah, it's tantalizing. I think they'll go over. I do. But I think like
bang on
6. Like you know, there's every chance they're 1. But like I do think
I think they're better than the Saints.
Yeah, wasn't that over under 4?
4.5. Yeah, but that's I can't.
But I also think that the Giants should be better than they were last year.
Yes.
Yeah. By 2 games.
Sounds about right.
I'm going to go unders. I'm going to say they win 5.
Yeah.
Just so, because I think if they start winning any more, then Jackson Dart's not in there.
Yeah, exactly. We want to see
We're on the Jackson Dart.
We're on the Jackson Dart train.
On the dart.
Throw those darts, baby.
The curse of the middling quarterback.
Yeah. Next, we got the Cowboys. They're over under, which has actually recently dropped since the trade, is now sitting at 7.5. And to go over, they're paying $2.10. It's got to be under.
It's got to be under.
Cowboys are my biggest rival, so I was always going under anyway.
But also, it's going to be a fun unders. I'm really looking forward to it. Every step of the way of that one.
It could be a high scoring unders. Imagine the highest scoring team, but under 7.5.
Yeah, crazy, and also like a great stat for them to have. It would be really fitting for the Cowboys and just like Dallas Nation as a whole. Moving on, we've got the Commanders. Their over under is sitting at 9.5, and their over is paying $1.87. So they were a very challenging team last year. I think they've gone out and improved on what they were last year. So that 9.5 is probably bang on.
Yeah. I'm going to say to almost not to spite you, but the fact that there hasn't been a back-to-back champion in this division in 23 years or something, they're going to go overs and win it. That's probably part of the spicy takes that we should have.
It's funny because I was going to say if I had a hot take, that is mine as well. I think they're going to go over, and I do think they'll win that division.
And the worst part for me is I actually do believe they're going to go over. Hopefully the Eagles just have a couple more wins so they don't.
They need one more win.
Only need one more. That's all I want.
They actually have the same amount of wins, but have a better record.
Yeah. The Commanders are good. And it's really hard for me.
Or do they have that second year slump though? That's the other.
Yeah, maybe. But it's really hard for me them being in the NFC East, and it's a team that I actually genuinely love watching play. But I guess the Birds get to play them twice. Moving on to the Birds, their over under is sitting at 11.5, over being $2.05. So obviously you know where I'm going with this. They're going to.
You're not allowed to.
Yeah.
11.5. What did you win last year?
Over 12, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was high. I think you go. You besides the cornerback room, you haven't lost a lot, if at all. So I think you're still going to be 11.5. Probably you're going over. Yeah, it's going to be tight for that number one.
It's tight, yeah.
And you got to remember the last time that we went to the Super Bowl, even though we lost, where we came back and then started that season 8-0. 10-0. Yeah.
And lost 6.
Yeah. So, if you start 10-0 and then and then lose 2, you're looking a whole lot better.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, they should get there. I mean, I do think that
they're a good side.
They're a very they won a Super Bowl. They're a good side.
They're pretty good. 40 to 6.
but also it's if Barkley has the season you're talking about, yeah, obviously, but it's pretty rare.
Mm.
Like it is actually rare
Back-to-back
for running
is,
backs to go back to back. Derrick Henry's done it a couple of times, but
He's been the
Two in-
most consistent.
yeah, that's right.
No one
But
else
two
has
in a
been
row
that.
big like that has it's
got
it's
impact.
rare.
It's got impacts.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm gonna say no unders.
Ooh,
Wow.
They're bringing it in at 11.
All right. This was a probably slightly longer episode. There's some big news. It was your episode, Super Bowl champions, but we're 8 from 8, boys. We're done. Season
What a
season
great-
starts.
What a great way of getting ourselves ready for football.
Oh,
We go through. We
season
know where we're
starts
in.
in
It's been
couple
a
of
joy.
days.
So exciting.
10:20 on Friday morning for us. We do have a week 1 preview dropping just before then, so make sure you listen out for that. Danny boy.
And also, wait, before you do, like and subscribe. I know that sounds like, I should say, like, look, if you're a fan of the show,
Tell your friends.
tell your friends about it.
Tell your mum.
We are. If you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you're looking
The
at
new
it,
digs.
we've put effort
New
in.
digs.
I painted a room,
Yeah.
right? I've barely done that for my house before, but like,
Painting the worst job.
we're stepping up. We want to do more of this, and we want to do it. We want more people to be talking about NFL in Australia. So like, subscribe, share,
Follow.
spread the word, follow,
Follow on everything.
stalk. I don't care.
I'll tell you T-Max address. Just DM me. On that note, though, go Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Let you
Get
have
them
it.
both in.